Hey, it's Lowry Smith of the Commander Smiths here with a box opening. Now, this came in another package as well. There's a lot of cards in here. I think around 200. Um, got this ordered this in from Cardkingdom. I used about $350 worth of store credit. I send in there stuff that I can't trade away on CardSphere. And so I'm gonna crack this open and let's see what we ended up getting. It should be kind of fun. And there's probably going to be a piece of paper in here with my address on it. So I'm going to pull it off and pull that out real quick too. Um, can't have that on. All right, let's see here. There we go. Woo! Look at all those peanuts. Is there one more in there? One more. It's foils, a lot of fun stuff. Ooh, I got a big one. All right, I'm going to clean up these little popcorns real quick. But I'm excited. I went through every set and looked through any commons and uncommons that were over $1 and bought them if I didn't own them. And then I went through all of the rares and mythics from every set. And again, if I didn't buy it and I thought it was cheap, there's going to be a lot of jank, but kind of cool, or I didn't have it. Kind of bought it. And I just want to have a bunch of different ideas that I can pull from when I'm making decks. Because it's not fun to build decks and be like, oh shit, I don't have that. Ooh, look at that shit. Um, I don't know where to open up at first. Let's do the smaller one first. Let's see here. Obadiah first. Packing peanuts. Yep. All right. I like the way that CK sends their stuff. Hard case with the tape that's easily uh removable. CK basically, because of their credit, is basically the only store I buy from at this point. So, oh, look at that beat up guy as Avenger. All right, antiquities, and so it gets +1. It's a 1/1 +1/+1 for each artifact opponent has in play, and so this was 30-40 bucks or whatever. But also I'm thinking I want to do some type of like artifact destruction deck with Mycosynth Lattice and stuff like that. Always fold the ends of the tape when packaging. Yes. Also, I should point that out. That's a really good point. So the reason why it's good is because they fold their tape, and then you have a place to grab, pull. Do that whenever you're packaging anything, sending it out in trades or sales or whatever. It is a great way to make sure that your package doesn't turn into a mess. So, guys, Avenger is cool. Wanted denial. Look at the top card of the target player's library. If that card is a non-land card, you may pay 2 life and put it in their graveyard. Cheap, easy. Um, Looks kind of fun to be able to get rid of stuff. Reign of Filth. Each land you control says sacrifice, add a black. Kind of, it's not, I don't love it. It's like 3/4. This was hard to pull the trigger on, but it works in Gitrog Monster, I'm sure. But it was a $3-4 card or whatever. Last Laugh. Whenever a permanent other than Last Laugh is put in the graveyard from play, it deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. But no creatures are in play, sacrifice Last Laugh. I just thought that was kind of a fun one that can go around. But Cycle is reserve list. It's not amazing, but again, reserve list, didn't own it. And then whenever you play a card, draw a card. And then you can only have 2 cards in your hand. Root Water Thief. 1/2 Merfolk gains flying, and whenever it deals combat damage to you may pay 2 to a player. If you do, search that player's library, remove that card from the game, then that player shuffles. So it's kind of an interesting, fun card being able to go through and kill people's deck. Triangle of War. I believe this is also reserve list, but it basically is sack it and a creature you have fights. Corrosion, also reserve list. But people have to um, gets rust counters and then destroys artifacts, basically killing treasures. Want to get a couple of those. Purify, 5 mana, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Nice, cheap, easy. Didn't have one of those. Moonlace, target spell or permanent becomes colorless. I don't know why, but it feels like I want that. Um, Foily Stronghold Overseer, just wanted it for the foil. because I've liked this card for a long time, but I don't play Shadow at all. But oh, it is a demon. So I built a Shadowborn Apostle demon deck with Nethroi. I think at that when I was making this purchase, I was thinking maybe it has a shot, but it doesn't. Worms of the Earth is reserve list as well, but no new lands can be brought into play during any player's upkeep. Any player may destroy Worms of the Earth by sacrificing 2 lands or taking 5 damage. So, kind of fun there. Scalding Tongs. During your upkeep, you may have 3 or fewer cards in hand and deals 1 damage to target opponent. Rootwater Shaman. You may play creature enchantments, auras, whenever you could play an instant. Not a bad card to have. Did I get 2? Yep, 3, 4, maybe too many, but that's okay. But instant speed, whenever you have that chance, that's a good thing to look at. My Shadowborn Apostle deck is too strong. I made it weak, but not weak enough. Yeah, I mean, tutoring is really good, especially with Razaketh. Mine kind of went off on stream 2 weeks ago. I'm probably going to take out Razaketh just to tone it down a bit. uh, Wrathy Dragon comes into play. Sacrifice 2 mountains or sacrifice Wrathy Dragon. I don't know why. Minion of the Waste, trample, pay any amount of life, and then that is its power's toughness equal to the amount of that life, but also it's just kind of like being able to adjust whatever your life is at. That was my thought there. The Marble Titan, creatures with power 3 or greater do not untap during their controller's untap step. Just a stacks piece I did not have, even though I don't play stacks. So, not a bad deal there. All right. I can officially, let's see where we at. We had 6 minutes. Not doing too bad at all. Oops. We have that. Let's see here. Like I said, plenty of jank in here. Kind of fun. All right. Saculum Godspeaker. Reveal any number of creatures with power 5 or greater. Add that much green mana. Didn't have it. Grip of Chaos. Whenever a spell or ability is put onto the stack, reselect its target at random if it has a single target. Yoicks. Seems random. Pain's Reward. You bid any amount of life in turn order. Each player may top the high bid. The bidding ends at the high bid stands. The high bidder loses life equal to the high bid and draws 4 cards. Um, that could be fun. It could be brutal. I love Verity Circle, so I wanted a couple more foils. Ghosts of the Innocent. If a source would deal damage to a creature or player, it deals half that damage rounded down to that creature or player instead. Spirits are kind of big every once in a while. They come back. So there's a shot. All right, there's another demon. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. If they can't sacrifice Woebringer Demon, it was a demon, probably. I didn't own it. Foil. Could be fun. Searing Meditation. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, deals 2 damage to a creature or player. Wanted a foil version of that. And wanted a foil version of Null Mage Shepherd. Tap 4 untap creatures, destroy target artifact or enchantment. I love this card. Empty the Catacombs. Let's see here. Did those foils come pre-pringled or do you have to pringle them? They came pre-pringled. I did not buy these in most of them I did not buy in near mint just cuz I'm cheap, but I like shiny things. So, but they're not awful either. There's a little bit of Pringle, but I mean, it's not bad. It's not awful. It's not Commander Legends bad. Yes, I did buy anything that just seemed weird, Obadiah. That it's kind of a mess at points, you're right. Each player returns all creature cards from the graveyard to his or her hand. I think this was it's something I haven't owned, but also something I was thinking for um the Shadowborn Apostle deck. Keldon Fire Bombers. When it ETBs, each player sacrifices all lands he or she controls except 3. Just because I don't play mean cards does not mean that I can't own them. Each player puts a green elephant creature token into play. Those creatures have this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in its controller's graveyard. I like playing in the graveyard, and so I don't care if I'm giving anybody. Soul Collector. I was thinking like I promo. I do have this in a non-promo form, but this is a promo. It looks gorgeous. I'm very happy with that. But I was, you know, anytime you can be like, I put this on a like a Chandra's ignition, and you steal everybody's stuff. Seems like a lot of fun. So, Siege Dragon promo ETBs deals or what is it? Destroy all walls your opponents control, and then if defending player controls no walls, it deals 2 damage to each creature without flying that player controls when it attacks. So not a bad deal. Probably too expensive. Promo Glean Crawler as well. This is a card that I've loved but do not play for a long time, and so I've wanted this. It was cheap. Shivan Worm, 7/7 trample for 5. When it ETBs, return a red or green creature. Um, Plenty ETB creatures out there, easily playable. This one's a little bit of a stretch, but interesting at least. Radiant Kavu. You can pay a red, green, white, prevent all combat damage. Blue creatures and black creatures would deal this turn. Um, Dominaria's Judgment. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain protection from white if you control planes, from blue if an island, yada, yada, yada. So just solid protection. Null Profusion. This is like Recycle. So whenever you play a card, draw a card, max hand size 2, skip your draw step. Mythic Proportions. Each creature gets +8/+8 until enter. Oh, enchanted creature gets +8/+8 and trample. Um, it's just a big um aura, but also kind of like you're playing the Eldrazi version, conscription. When I play this as well. Spark Mage. It's a dwarf. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may have it deal 1 damage to target creature that player controls. Not a bad deal. Bomb Squad. 1/1, put a fuse counter on target creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a fuse counter on each creature with a fuse counter on it. And then whenever a creature has 4 or more fuse counters on it, remove all fuse counters from it and destroy it. That creature deals 4 damage to its controller. That seems like fun. Being able to untap it, proliferate, whatever it needs to be, seems like fun. Pack Hunt. Search your library for up to 3 copies of target creature, reveal them, put them in your hand. This was a Shadowborn Apostle idea. Didn't get here in time. That's fine. Mana Cash. Let's see here. Don't get sick. We gotta hear your opinions on the setup. I'm already sick. I'm hopefully getting better. Let's see here. Kill things, take them, profit. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's a good thing. It that betrays is amazing. Turgrid. All right, mana cash. At the end of each player's turn, put a charge counter on mana cash for each untapped land that player controls. Remove a charge counter from mana cash. Add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. That any player may play this ability, but only during his or her turn before the end phase. Um, Seems interesting. Seems cool. Probably not the best, but that's okay. Cryptoplasm. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may have it become a copy of any target creature. If you do, it gains this ability. So, um, just a weird copy creature. Time Sifter. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, each player removes the top card of his or her library from the game. The player who removed the card with the highest converted mana cost takes extra turn. After this one, if 2 or more player cards are tied for highest, the tied players repeat the process until broken. So it's kind of like with Takasia, I was thinking I can set the top or you could just kind of set the top and it'd be interesting to just kind of keep on taking turns that way. I like that. In your Sakashima Vial Smasher deck. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I like that. Molder Slug. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an artifact. This is kind of that idea of just like Mycosynth Lattice deck in a red green version. Copperhoof Varric gets +1/+1 for each untapped permanent your opponents control. That can get pretty big. It's just kind of a big fatty. Nim Devourer gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control, and then you can pay 2, return it from your graveyard to play. Then sacrifice a creature, plays this ability only during your upkeep. So, not a bad deal. Kind of interesting. Spiritual Focus. Whenever a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard a card, you gain 2 life and draw a card. So, not bad. Like, there's enough wheeling out there that you'd be able to gain a bunch of life and draw a ton of cards that way. It'd stop them from wheeling. Dawn Strider. Discard a card from your hand. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. A repeatable fog is sweet. It's sweetness. Lady Caleria. Uh, it's an old Legends one. 3, 2 white, 2 green for a 3/6. You can tap it. It does 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Um, it is an archer. I'm all about green white archers. And Dominaria United came out with a better legend for it, but this would be a fun one to put in there. Pulse Mage Advocate, tap it, return 3 target cards in an opponent's graveyard to his or her hand. Return target creature card from your graveyard to play. Seems like a fun reanimation card for white, and you're helping out potentially somebody. Too bad Lowry can't make friends. Mana Maze, players can't play spells that share a color with the spell last played this turn. Seems interesting, seems cool. Can't get mad at it. Harsh Judgment comes into play. Choose a color. If an instant or sorcery of the chosen color would deal damage to you, it deals that much damage to its controller instead. Oath of Limb Duel Reserve List. For each 1 damage dealt to you or 1 life you lose, sacrifice a permanent you control or choose and discard a card from your hand. You cannot sacrifice Oath of Limb Duel this way. Ignore this effect if you control no permanents other than Oath and have no cards in hand. Black, black, draw a card. Um, I wouldn't want this unless I can instantly get rid of it. But yeah. Chain Stasis, also a reserve list, but tap and untap target creature. Whenever any player uses Chain Stasis to tap or untap a creature, that creature's controller may pay 3 and copy it. Evolution Vat, tap target creature, put a 1/1 counter on it until end of turn. That creature gains pay 4, double the number of 1/1 counters on it. It's really expensive, but could be interesting. Uh, Hashtag Team Forest Walk friend? Is that what you are, Renshai? I don't know about that. Synod Artificer. Pay X, tap it, tap X target non-creature artifacts, or X, tap it, untap X target non-creature artifacts. I thought this could be interesting in Magus Lucia Kane with the X spell decks. Um, we'll see. We'll see. Flamekin Herald, commander spells you cast have Cascade. I think that's just a fun card. I think I missed that when Commander Legends was out. The Black Staff of Waterdeep. You may choose not to untap it, and then you can pay 2. Another target non-token artifact you control becomes a 4/4. I don't know. I just didn't own it. I really didn't enjoy the D&D set until like later. I had to appreciate it. Not that kind of friend. Yeah. All right, doubling chant. For each creature you control, you may search your library for a creature card with the same name as that creature, put them onto the battlefield, and shuffle your library. This was a Shadowborn Apostle idea as well. I don't know. Distorting Lens, tap. Target permanent becomes the color of your choice until the end of turn. Obviously, I was maybe a little interested in changing the colors of stuff. So I don't know. Spore Genesis. During your upkeep, you may put a fungus counter on target non-token creature. Whenever a creature with a fungus counter on it is put in the graveyard, put a sapling token into play. For each of those fungus counters, treat those tokens as 1/1s. When this leaves play, remove all fungus counters from all creatures, which is brutal if you're running a, deck. Zephyrum seems sweet, and it was real cheap. So the miracle cost is 2, and then you can squat it up for 2, which is make copies. And so 1, 2, 3, 4. I bought 4. I have 1, so probably overbought by 1 or 2 or whatever. You sound like a first time parent 2 months into it right now. You need to go to sleep. You know what? It's just, actually recovering. I'm not snotting as much, but it's just how it is. I wonder no, I think this is all working. Maybe it's not working properly, but it is what it is. Tyrant Guard, I like this card a lot, but, from the Warhammer decks, but sacrifice it. Creatures you control with counters on it gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. And so I picked up a couple of those. It was relatively cheap. Tyrannid Prime. It has evolved. Other creatures you control have evolved, and I really like that as well. So I got four of them. Triarch Praetorian. When it enters the battlefield from a graveyard, you draw two cards and you lose two life. It's fantastic in Muldrotha, but it has the it's cheap. It's an artifact. It's a cool ass card. Toxicrene? I only bought one? I wanted to buy more than one. Alright. But 2/4, all lands can tap for everything, but they lose their abilities. Space Marine Scout, ETBs, and you can go and get Plains card if you're behind. Um, I like that effect too. Shard of the Void Dragon attacks everybody as sacrifices something, and whenever an artifact dies, put a 1/1 counter on it. Like that a bit too. Aberrate is good as well. Whenever it deals damage to an opponent, they got to sacrifice an destroy target artifact or enchantment, and then has Ravenous Trample. It's kind of cool. Um, so Zonothrope, and there's a red green version that fights. That's like $5, and this was like $1. So it's a red blue version that just deals direct damage to it, and flying ward two instead of the trample. But this one seems like a great pickup in my mind. So I picked up three of those, and then the Space Marine at one. I'm pretty sure I bought some more foils, but maybe that was all that ended up. Whatever. All right, one last full package here. Where are we at? 47. All right, I'm going to speed up a little bit too because I got to bring the kid to swimming here in 10 minutes. So we're going to rip roar through this, and I'm going to apologetically stop reading the comments. All right. So, more Space Marine Scout, Grasping Giant. That's jank. But whenever it becomes blocked by a creature, exile that creature until it leaves the battlefield. Seems cool. The a foil Thorn of Amethyst, Root Path Purifier, which is not jank, but yeah, foil version of it. Lands you control and land cards in your library are super basic. Jinx Ring, whenever a card is put into your graveyard from play, it deals one damage to you, and then you can sacrifice a creature and give it to somebody else. Shadrick Silver Quill, the black white mythic from um Strixhaven. There we go. So having some shots at it. Avon Heartstabber, flying, gets +2/+2 if you have a bunch of cards in your graveyard. And then whenever it dies, mill two cards, draw a card. Not too bad. I was kind of thinking that I like that confluence. I don't know if I do like it anymore. Tenacious Underdog, didn't have it, but the Blitz cost is cool. You may cast it from the graveyard. I like playing from the graveyard. Owlback Spawn gets +4/+8 as long as the library has 20 or fewer cards in it. I'm not really a mill player, but I didn't own it. It was cheap. Pestilence Demon, just getting foil for the demon deck. Ended up getting cut. I play consider Zatulpa enough that I want a foil version of it at least. Treasure chest, rolling dice. I don't know. Fuck that. Form of the Dinosaur, promo version. Seems kind of cool. I don't know. And then I got the Form of the Dragon as well. This is the from the Volts version, and that's basically why I bought it because it looks fucking sweet. Exalted Angel, I've wanted this forever. It came out with a promo list this last year. It's flying, deals damage, gain that much life. Morph. Urza, Prince of Krug, cheaper one. Might as well. I didn't have it. Obscura Ascendancy, got it in foil. Didn't have it before anyway, so it works out. Mortality Spear, green black. If you gain a life, destroy target non-land permanent. Dope. I didn't have the other Ascendancy, Maestro's Ascendancy, so Got a foil version of it. Locks it on life channer. um, when it ETBs, you may have your life total become your total toughness of creatures you control, and then it gets plus X is your life total. Fleetfoot Dancer. I like Streets of New Capenna. Just simple trample, lifelink, haste. Not too bad. Serum Sovereign. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put an oil counter on it. Remove an oil counter. Draw a card, then scry two. That's pretty good. 5 mana might be a little expensive, but that's pretty good. Might Overseer. As long as it's your turn, creature tokens you control get +1/+0 and have first strike. Then you can create creature tokens that has first strike. Phyrexian Soldier. Ooh, Phyrexian Vindicator. That's pretty. So I like that one. That is foily. We'll see where it goes. And then Mondrake foil alt art. Yeah, that's gorgeous too. I like that. That's the doubling tokens one. Kind of splurged on that. Glad I could get it in foil. It was hard to get. All right. Monumental Corruption. Target player draws X cards and loses X life, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Not a bad thing. Waters Gambit. Affinity for artifacts. Create 5/2/2 rebel creature tokens. They gain haste until end of turn. For each of those tokens, you may attach an equipment you control to it. Not a bad come from behind deck. Glimmer Lens. I like this a lot. Whenever equipped creatures and at least one other creature attacks, draw a card. Not a bad one. Got picked up two of them. Clever Concealment. I wish I bought this before it jumped, but doubled in price. But any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. It's a good one to have. I bet a lot. Roar of Resistant. Creature tokens you control have haste. Does something else. Thought it was kind of cool. This is Hexplate Wellbreaker. Jank. But whenever it attacks, if the first combat phase, you get another one. Anytime you see something with take another combat phase, pick up a couple. It's a good spec. Um, Celestial Dawn, just turning everything into plains and white, and that's just again wanting to change colors or something. Beacon of Immortality. I didn't have it. Doubles life total. This one is going to go into the Shadowborn, but return target creature card and all other cards with the same name as that card from your graveyard to your hand. It's gonna be perfect in there. Starnheim Unleashed. It's Foretell for X, create a 4/4 creature token with flying and a vigilance. If the spell was foretold, create X of those. We'll see if I like it. It was probably a little expensive for what I would want to pay for it, but non-legendary Curse of Conformity. Non-legendary creatures enchanted player controls lose all abilities, all creature types, and are 3/3s. Celestial Judgment. For each different power among creatures on the battlefield, choose a creature with that power. Destroy each creature not chosen this way. Just a nice little wrath. Halana and Alana partners. First strike reach 2/3 at the beginning of combat on your turn. Put X 1/1 counters on another target creature you control. Where X is Halana and Alana's power, that creature gains haste until end of turn. Kind of like bad Xenagos, but Xenagos is real good. Midnight Arsonist. Whenever ETBs destroy up to X target artifacts without mana abilities, where X is the number of vampires you control. This is crazy in a vampire deck. Whenever there's crazy um, tribal synergies, you at least get one, even if you're not playing it. That's how I look at it. Choose three target Sinister Waltz. Three target creatures in your graveyard. Return two of them at random to the battlefield and the other on the bottom of your library. That's a good rate. It's a very good rate. Sign of Opulence is Vampire Tribal. Wanted a upgraded Varric for my deck. The other one was non-full art. I wish they had a foil. They do not, from what I saw. Divine Sacrament. White creatures get +1/+1. And it was jink. I didn't like it. Unliving Psychopath. You can black tap it, destroy target creature with power less than Psychopath's power. I found that interesting. Archfiend's Vessel. When it ETBs, if it entered from the graveyard or you cast it from your graveyard, exile it. If you do, create a 5/5 black creature. I was thinking I could add this in the Modrotha, and that's not a bad return there. We're getting down there. Venture Forth. Exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a land card. Put that into the battlefield and the rest on the bottom. Not too bad to just kind of happening. throughout a game if you can get it for just early suspend. Journey to Lost City, lots of rolling dice. I hate myself for it. Patriar's Shield seal, it's very good, and I wanted it in foil. I got one. I wish I got more. Dredge the Mire is each opponent chooses a creature card in their graveyard. Put those cards on the battlefield under your control. It's nice. It's stealing. I kind of wanted a few more. Probably didn't need it. Skeletal Swarming. Each skeleton you control has trample, attacks each combat if able, and gets plus X plus O, where X is the number of other skeletons you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a tapped 1/1 black skeleton creature token. If a creature died this turn, create two of those tokens instead. Seems kind of fun. I don't, there's not a skeleton deck out there really, but Long Rest, another D&D one. I'm not going to read through that one. Valiant Endeavor, that is rolling dice, which I don't really care about. Revivify. What is this? Return all creature cards that died. It's one of those. I like those kind of cards. Probably didn't need to buy three, but two is probably fine. Bag of Devouring. I did not like that card. I shouldn't have bought it. Loth Spider Queen. Spiders are cool. Creating tokens is cool. I like it. Instrument of the Bards. That's a lot of reading as well. I'm just speeding up because I gotta go. Hand of Vecna. I have the other two Vecna things, so I just wanted to be able to complete the whole Vecna dealy. Monk class didn't have it. And I like the classes. They're very solid cards. And then a foily, Isenged Death, Frost Tyrant. Um, Flying Vigilance. If it dies, you get a 2/0 whenever the creature attacks. I was thinking I wanted to put this in Ishin just for that attack equipment, but it ain't bad. Well, that's kind of everything. That's plenty of cards that we just went through there, and hopefully you enjoyed. Maybe you saw some new stuff. Maybe you saw some stuff that might have been worth buying. But either way, uh, glad you enjoyed it. All right, have a good one. Bye.